The fact that you just traded on that proves that you can't be trusted.
Hands in the air. Turn around slowly.
I cannot believe you just asked me
You
that.
respected me enough not to lie to my face.
We took that final step and lived to tell the tale.
Spoiler warning. If you are not caught up with General Hospital and you want to stay completely surprised, now is the time to pause and come back later. But if you are here for the drama, the chaos, and all the tea that Port Charles is serving up this Friday, then stay right where you are, because today's episode is absolutely loaded. Welcome to General Hospital Media, the channel that never sleeps when Port Charles is on fire, and trust me, today that city is burning. Friday, May 15th is hitting screens like a Category 5 storm, and 3 storylines are colliding at the exact same time in ways that are going to leave your jaw on the floor. Carly Spencer is done being polite. Josslyn Jax is done waiting for things to fix themselves. And Curtis Ashford, sweet, well-meaning Curtis, is out here about to absolutely destroy someone's romantic evening without even fully realizing what he's walking into. This is not your average Port Charles Friday. This is the kind of episode that makes you put your phone down, sit up straight, and forget you even had plans tonight. Let's start where the energy is most explosive, and that is with Carly Spencer, because when Carly snaps, the entire show shifts on its axis. This woman has survived mob wars, heartbreak, betrayal, and more catastrophic life events than most soap characters see in a decade. She does not snap easily. She does not lose her composure without a very good reason. So when Carly Spencer reaches her breaking point with Brennan Cullum, you know something has been building beneath the surface for a long time, and today that pressure finally blows. Now here's what makes this so fascinating. Cullum is not just some background character Carly happened to run into. There is history here. There is tension that has been simmering, and there are stakes that go far beyond a simple disagreement. Carly has been navigating her relationship with Brennan very carefully, trying to find the balance between what she feels and what she knows about who he really is and where his loyalties actually lie. But something happens on Friday that pushes her past that careful balance. Something he says, something he does, or maybe something she finally realizes, and Carly is done holding back. When she snaps at Cullum, it is not just anger. It is clarity. It is a woman who has spent her entire life trusting the wrong people at the wrong moments, finally drawing a hard, unmovable line. The confrontation between them is raw and real and absolutely electric to watch. Carly does not pull her punches. She never does. And Brennan, for his part, is not going to simply stand there and absorb what she throws at him. He pushes back. And that pushback, it reveals something. Something that changes the temperature of this entire dynamic going forward. The question is this the beginning of the end between Carly and Brennan? Or is this the kind of fight that actually strips everything down to the truth and forces two people to finally be honest with each other? Because sometimes the most explosive arguments are the ones that clear the air. And sometimes they are the ones that burn everything to the ground. With Carly, it could genuinely go either way. You're watching General Hospital Media, and we are just getting started. Now let's talk about Josslyn, because this young woman is done sitting on the sidelines. Josslyn Jax has always had her mother's fire, that instinct to take control of a situation when she feels like it is spinning out of her hands. And right now, Josslyn is in full strategy mode. She is plotting. She is calculating. And whatever plan she is putting together, it is clearly connected to something she cares about deeply enough to risk the fallout. Now think about where Josslyn is emotionally right now. She has been dealing with relationships, with personal conflict, with watching the people around her make choices that affect her life in ways she did not ask for. And at some point, you stop reacting and you start acting. That is exactly what Josslyn is doing on Friday. She is not waiting for someone to fix things. She is not asking anyone for permission. She is stepping into the driver's seat and making a move that is going to have ripple effects we may not fully see until next week. What exactly is she plotting? That is the delicious part, because the specifics are still unfolding. But what we know is that the people around her, whether they are her allies or the people standing in her way, are not going to see this coming. Josslyn has that combination of Carly's boldness and a younger generation's willingness to take risks that the older characters sometimes talk themselves out of. When Josslyn decides something needs to happen, she does not overthink it. She moves, and that momentum, that energy she brings into Friday's episode, is going to collide with everything else happening around her. Because Port Charles is one of those places where nothing happens in a vacuum. One person's plan always intersects with someone else's crisis, and today is no exception. Which brings us perfectly to Curtis Ashford, because Curtis. This man has one of the biggest hearts in Port Charles, and sometimes that big heart walks him directly into situations where his timing is absolutely catastrophic. Curtis is playing the role of what the fans are already calling the date wrecker, and if you have been following his journey lately, you know that Curtis has been navigating his own complicated path, physically, emotionally, and relationally. He has been finding his footing again after everything he went through, and that process has brought him closer to certain people while creating distance from others. But here is where Friday gets genuinely uncomfortable in the best possible way. Curtis, in what is probably a well-intentioned move, ends up inserting himself into someone's romantic situation at exactly the wrong moment. Whether he is completely unaware of what he is walking into or whether there is something a little more intentional beneath the surface, the result is the same. A date gets wrecked, a moment gets shattered, and the fallout is immediate. Now, the really interesting question is whose date is being interrupted, and why does it matter so much that it becomes a major plot point? Because in General Hospital, the writers do not use these moments just for comedy or awkwardness. There is always a deeper layer. Is Curtis protecting someone? Is he jealous? Is he acting on information that the other person in that romantic situation does not yet have? Or is he genuinely just in the wrong place at the wrong time with absolutely no awareness of what he just walked into? The reactions in that scene are going to tell us everything. Watch the body language. Watch the eyes. Watch who looks guilty and who looks relieved and who looks absolutely furious. Because every one of those reactions is a clue about where these relationships are really heading. This is General Hospital Media, your source for Port Charles breaking drama, and the connections between these three storylines are not a coincidence. Carly snapping, Josslyn plotting, Curtis disrupting, all of it is happening on the same day for a reason. The show is building something. There is a larger thread underneath all of this separate chaos, and the writers are pulling it tighter and tighter with each episode. Think about the emotional ecosystem of Port Charles right now. Relationships that look solid are showing cracks. Characters who seem settled are being pushed into corners. And the people who tend to act from instinct rather than strategy, Carly, Josslyn, Curtis, are all making moves today that they cannot easily walk back from. That is the kind of storytelling that keeps General Hospital at the center of the conversation day after day. And here is what makes Friday even more suspenseful. Not every question gets answered today. Carly's confrontation with Brennan ends, but the wound stays open. Josslyn's plan is set in motion, but the results have not landed yet. Curtis's date-wrecking moment creates a rupture that will need to be addressed, but not necessarily today. General Hospital is playing the long game this week, and that means the fallout from everything you see on Friday is going to be felt deep into next week's episodes. Port Charles never gives you complete resolution. It gives you momentum. And right now, that momentum is pointing towards something much bigger than any single argument or interrupted dinner date. There's a storm coming, and the people at the center of it have no idea how far the damage is going to reach. So here's what I want to know. Are you Team Carly in this fight with Brennan, or do you think she is being too harsh? Do you trust what Josslyn is planning, or do you think she is about to make a massive mistake? And what do you think is really going on with Curtis? Drop your theories in the comments below right now, because this community always has the best reads on what the show is building toward, and I genuinely want to hear what you think. If this breakdown got you ready for Friday's episode, do me a favor and hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more General Hospital fans just like you. Share this video with your GH family, and if you are not subscribed yet, tap that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Because here on General Hospital Media, we are in this with you every single week, breaking down every twist, every confrontation, every heartbreak, and every shocking moment as it happens. And trust me when I tell you this, next week in Port Charles, the ground is about to shake. The fallout from Friday is just the beginning, and what comes next is going to change everything. You do not want to miss a single second of it. Stay close, stay ready, and we will see you right back here with the next update. This is General Hospital Media, and Port Charles never sleeps.